Welcome back to my channel, you guys. So back at it for another video. I just wanted to talk with you about my kitchen organization. I actually have been really working to try to get my kitchen organized for basically the whole time I've lived here. I feel like a bunch of different systems I tried really never worked, and different products I bought never really worked, and it's just been super frustrating because I'm like, I just want it to look organized and decent and like easy to use and not cluttered, and it's been a time. Okay, so I'm just going to go through with you what I've done recently, which I feel like has been the best system we've had so far. So first thing I did was get rid of my herb garden. Herbs, they were thriving, they were growing, they were living their best life. I was super excited about it. So I did buy some things here to like make it look a little nicer and to kind of organize things. I did buy a acrylic cup pencil. Sounds weird, but I really like the idea of having some nice like pretty spoons there, and like my little scooper for my coffee, all that on the wall with the coffee, and then that way in the morning it's pretty convenient because it's like boom, 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 it's all there. I've got some syrups up there in case I want to do a fancy coffee. So I've got like all of that stuff on the wall located with the coffee bar kind of all together, and which are referenced in a different video, but link, you know, around here in the description. But about some bigger bins that I got at Ross, and they're deeper, and they can hold more, but I thought it would be nice because it looks less cluttered actually on the cart, because the bins are deeper, I can hold more stuff. The wine rack has been there, so nothing changed on that front, but I did take the bin that's an undershelf bin. I reused that and moved it over to by the toaster, which sounds weird. It's not 100% the best location, but it's kind of what I got. So basically, initially I had all the pot holders over by the stove, which makes the most sense. But the problem is I also have appliances over there that were getting in the way. The only main difference is I moved everything over that cabinet. I kind of resorted it, and then I put things like water bottles and things like that. I got an organizer for that so that we could have them stacked up, and then because it's the cabinet, they can't stand up in the cabinet, but then have them nicely organized in the top of the cabinet. So if you need a water bottle, they're right there. So that was the main thing I did with that one. So that was a pretty simple fix. I just had to move it over. Now, the other thing that my husband hates, like absolutely hates, is that I move the cups and the plates. The cups and the plates are in different locations now. But in my defense, I feel like when I initially put everything in the kitchen, it wasn't the best setup. Why are the plates not near the stove? If you think about it, when you take the food off the stove, you put the food on a plate, right? Well, the plates were all the way across the room. So it's like, that didn't make any sense. So I was like, it makes more sense to have the plates near the stove, and then the way you need to plate your food, it's right there. You just grab it and it's right there. So I made it an executive decision for our household that I was going to move the plates next to the stove where the cups were. So my husband is still adapting. I mean, I still have to adapt to an extent, but at the same time, it makes more sense practically. Once he's used to it, he's just adapting. So I'll show you the picture of what the cabinet looks like. I did reorganize the plates and kind of sort them out a little bit in the bowls. And I haven't really known exactly what to do with that, so I'm calling that my miscellaneous cabinet. So basically, I took things that we rarely use, like let's say a grater, for example, something I don't use all the time, like, but you might need it, and it's kind of an awkward shape. So there's that. There's vases for flowers. There's a tea kettle. Like just kind of random things that you don't grab all the time, but you may need in the future. So I decided that that's what that cabinet was going to be for. So it's not a perfect setup, but at least I kind of have a general location for all the random miscellaneous things that I don't use all the time. So below that, the pots and the pans have been pretty consistent consistently in this cabinet, so that's not been a big change. But the only change is that I took the bowls out of this cabinet because I feel like there was just too many things in a small space, and I want to be able to look in and see that there's pots and pans and be able to grab the pot and pan I want. Versus if you have bowls in there too, and then you're like, where are these stupid bowls in the way? So I took the bowls out, put exclusively pots and pans in there, like just stovetop normal pots and pans. So that's what's there now. So they got all that sorted out, right? And then the cabinet next to it is also an odd shape because I did put bowls there initially just to try it out. Like, what would bowls be like down here? Well, they don't fit down there because the stupid cabinet's too narrow. So I'm like, well, what can I use this stupid cabinet for? Because I have a bunch of narrow, awkward cabinets like that don't work very well for really anything. So I was like, okay, what can I do with this? So I decided that I would use our most commonly used appliances that are extra. I'm gonna put them down there. So one being the blender. Like, I love the blender. We use the blender, but it's like you got to put it somewhere. So I decided to, and it doesn't even fit in there all the way perfectly, which is the most annoying part. So I put a bin in there with like the parts of the blender, push that in, and then I put like the actual like big container part in there, and that fits okay. The like food processor is small, so that fits. I think there's like a tiny waffle iron in there. Like, that type of stuff fits in there. Big cabinet. I put Pyrex dishes because I have an obscene amount of casserole dishes. I think it's from being from the South. I don't know. But I have a lot of Pyrex casserole dishes, obscene amount. So I have those, and like, what else would you say, like Dutch oven type pans, like those type of things. I have those, and yeah, pretty much those and bowls in one cabinet. So I did that. I have a pull-out drawer that's for the Pyrex dishes. That's been in there, so nothing new on that front. But basically that type of stuff I just left kind of there. The only difference is I put the bowls in there too, hoping that that would help like get rid of those, because we don't need big bowls all the time just for like parties and stuff. So I just threw that there. Now, we have this another tiny, thin cabinet that is annoying, so let me tell you about that one. So that one has been usually for cutting boards because they're thin and small. I also put in like a pizza pan or like baking sheets, those type of things, because it's kind of an odd size and they're skinny. So I put all those in there, and then the bottom, I was trying to think about what I could do with the bottom because it's like low to the ground, it's skinny. I put in baking sheets, like the silicone baking sheets, or I actually bought a copper set. So I bought a little, or like I have a magazine file, and I stuffed them in there. So that seems to work the best overall, but at the same time, it's just an odd cabinet as well, like all of my other cabinets. I forgot about my spice cabinet. This has been a work in progress for years. Like, I've done so many different systems in this cabinet, and nothing really has ever stuck very well. The most recent system has been the most effective. I'll show you the product I bought. It's basically an expandable shelf organizer with multi-levels, and it's pretty much for spices or for like nail polishes, things that are small bottles. I feel like this has been the best system I've had so far, and I also bought these Joseph drawers. Now, the Joseph drawers, I love the idea of them so much. I only have one gripe, is they don't want to stick to my cabinets at all. So they're clipped on, but then in the back you need to have them stuck so they stay, like the drawer stays up, right? When you pull it down, it stays like pretty in the same spot. So my beef is that what comes with them, you put it on, you nail it on there. I left it there. I didn't put anything in there initially. I like held it there really tight, everything. Well, the first time I used it, it pulls out, it drops down. I put it back in there, the back goes, okay. So now I have the drawer laying on top of the other spices. So I know, first world problems, but still kind of a bright, because it's like the point of it is to get it off of everything else and like up and away, so you have a little bit extra storage. So I like the idea of it, but it needs to like have some sort of better adhesive that it comes with, like a better, like really strong adhesive to be able to adhere it. So that is one thing I'm still working on, trying to find some sort of adhesive that works really well with staying to the cabinet, because as soon as you put something in it, it's like, and it's supposed to hold a lot. So it's like, I don't understand why just putting a basic thing of seasoning in it is like, oh, I can't handle it, and it collapses. So that's annoying. That is a big gripe. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'll show you kind of like what the idea of it is. And then I bought 2 of those, one for the top, one for the bottom. I figured I would put the things that I rarely use on the top and things that I obviously use more often toward the bottom. And then, so I did that with the seasonings, and I relabeled everything. That way I can see everything. Now, there's always a couple of overflow things. So this cabinet held as much as humanly possible, like oils, things like that. I had to find something to do with them. So what I ended up doing was buying these magnetic shelves that go on the fridge. So reason being, I don't want a bunch of stuff on the counter, but we need it accessible and you need to be able to use it. So my husband's a big safety nut, so he wants a fire extinguisher super close by, like right there in your face. So I'm like, what can I do to put that into our design plan? So I bought these magnetic shelves. They're super strong, you guys. Highly recommend. So I bought 2 of them, and I put the fire extinguisher and like your olive oil and all of the miscellaneous things that you need for cooking that you don't want to necessarily have to put away if you don't have room for them, but you don't want them out on the counter all the time. So I used to have all the utensils actually in a bin, and it was on the counter, but then again it was getting really junky, so I put all of the utensils in a drawer, hide them, don't have to see them, but they're near the stove so they're accessible. Now, as far as knives go, I bought another Joseph product, which his stuff's amazing. Joseph's got it going on, but it's like a knife organizer with multiple levels. So I'll show you what I had before. I got it at IKEA. I thought it was really good, but it like didn't really work that well for what I needed. I mean, it was kind of like for the minute, but it didn't really work out long term. But this one's much better. I'll show you what that looks like, and you can see the difference in the organization of the knives. So you have multiple levels. You can put the steak knives on top, and then you can put like the really like big knives on the bottom, and you can get multiple things in a small drawer. So that worked out really well. So we've got that. And then as far as the silverware drawer, I already had an organizer I had purchased. I thought it was going to be wonderful. I got a lemon of a drawer organizer, so pretty happy about that. Sarcastically, it was really bad. Like, for some reason, the quality on it was so bad. Like, everyone's reviews were great. Everyone had the best one ever. I got literally the crappiest one, or like some new person making it. I don't know what happened, but none of the, like the bottom was not attached to the dividers. So like you would go to get a knife and the knife is like slid out under into something else, into another container area. So it was constantly messed up. Like it was never organized. No matter what I did, it like wouldn't sort itself out. So I had to actually take this out and caulk all of the little empty spots and like tack it down. So I had to like literally rehab this stupid drawer divider because I paid a lot for it. It was like 20 bucks for it. And it was supposed to be nice because it's wood and pretty, and it was expandable, and it was like supposed to be God's gift to drawer dividers. And I'm like, literally no one glued this down well because it's like popping out all over the place. Like the bottom's here and the drawer divider's here. Everything's just sliding in between. So I like caulk it, fix it, everything, and then I put it back in the drawer, and I'm like, okay, well that looks okay, but I still need more dividers because I have other miscellaneous utensils to put in there. So I basically did something that I was like, why am I stupid? I swear. So I flipped the drawer divider, and it works so much better now. I feel so dumb. Like the way I had it didn't make any sense because when you pull the drawer out, there was stuff hiding in the back and you couldn't reach it. I literally flipped the drawer divider around and I was like, this makes so much more sense. Why didn't I do this all along? So I'll show you what it looked like before and after, like how stupid I feel. Like, I swear, it's like sometimes you do stuff and you're like, who am I? Like, who let this happen? So I fixed that, and then I feel like that helped the situation other than fixing the drawer divider itself. Fixing that helped. And then I put in some more bins in there to like kind of sort through like different miscellaneous silverware that doesn't really have a home necessarily. Like, for example, like a rice paddle. We have multiple rice paddles. You need somewhere for that to go because we use them all the time. So I have a separate bin for those, or like a separate bin for even a little separate container for like corn cob things, you know, just like a lot of little miscellaneous stuff. So there's what that looks like there. And then the Tupperware drawer actually is pretty much the same as it's been. I didn't change anything too much. I just kind of like reorganized it a little bit and made sure the tops were in there and like kind of sorted out. So not too shocking there. That's like more of my lunch container drawer. I did make it a little bit more special and say, hey, this is for when I pack my lunch. These are the containers that work with packing lunch, or you know, that sort of thing, versus like ginormous containers. So I put the ginormous containers on the bottom, and then that way, like if you need something to store your dinner, then that's where that would be. But I also have like reusable napkins there and like little containers and stuff like that. So that's where that lunchbox drawer is. Now, my other drawer, that one also needed a lot of help because literally I have so many miscellaneous things in there. I have the hand mixer, I have like a peeler, you know, it's like all the little tiny things that you need, but you need to find somewhere for. So I did get this acrylic set of organizers, and I feel like that did amazing job of like resorting everything, and I just found specific containers for different things and made it as organized as humanly possible. So that system has been working out amazingly, so highly recommend doing that if you have one drawer that's housing a lot of different things. Now, on two was under the sink cabinet as well, and the under the sink cabinet was a problem because I had put in some drawers, like little plastic drawers, the Sterilite ones, so that we could have like kitchen towels and stuff like that in there, right? You would think very simple system, will work, no issues. Well, you forget. My husband is the one doing the chores. He decided that he did not want to I say he decided, it was like real haphazard, to put all of the kitchen towels when he puts them away, like just in front of the drawer, but not in the drawer. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is there a stack of towels here? Like just a big lumpy stack. And I was like, why didn't you just put these in? Well, I guess he just doesn't do that. I don't know. I can't explain it. But I basically was like, obviously this system's not going to work because you're not going to use it. And it was already, I mean, in his defense, the drawers were very stuffed. Like I had a lot of towels in them, but you could still put the towels in them. Like basically he would wash them and just throw them in the bottom of the cabinet. Very helpful. Thank you. I love how you do chores. So there's that. So basically I took everything out. I reorganized everything. I did actually take some stuff out in general under the sink. I like to keep all my cleaning stuff under there. But the problem is, like, after a while you just have too many things under there, and then there's just bins and bins and bins and bins and bins. And it was just too much. Like, you can't fit with so many things under there without stacking stuff up. So I bought some new like cloth bins, and I put all of the towels in there. So you have a bin for kitchen towels. You have a bin for cleaning towels. We have a bin over here, and that's for, I don't even remember what the other bin was for, but you got a bins over there. So there's bins everywhere, but the bins are organized for a change. So that's, oh yes, sponges. That was what the other bins are for. So I have a bin that I took out for like sponges and things like that. I also put in the rest of the cleaning supplies, like the big bulky ones. I put those in there. Just a lot of like little things that, you know, you need to put in under the sink area. So got that all sorted out. Looks much better. Not ridiculous like it was. And then there was also these on the cabinet organizers I had put there before to like house big like bottles, like a big bottle of Cascade or a big bottle of Dawn, those type of things, which he wasn't using. So we had to re-put that in there. So, you know, it's like anytime anyone's going to organize, you have to like think about who's going to actually use the stuff and try to make it as easy as possible. And even then, like, some people just can't get it. So, but you know, we digress. So that's what I was doing on that front. But yeah, like you can see here, I'm like really trying to get our kitchen areas organized as humanly possible. It's just difficult when you just don't have a lot of room to work with necessarily, or you have a lot of miscellaneous things and you're trying to resort things. But I feel like what we've done so far has helped by just getting things moved around a little bit and just getting rid of things we don't need. But yeah, and then when I put the cups in the cup cabinet, I did keep in mind like, okay, we have too many cups. We need to like weed out some of these cups because obviously we can only fit but so many in the cabinet and you can only drink out of so many. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you the purchases I've made as far as trying to get the kitchen organized and sharing like some different like little hacks and things that I've done to try to get the kitchen more sorted out and more usable. And I hope this inspires you maybe to find some like little hacks for your kitchen as well, if your kitchen's kind of the same shape, or even if it's not necessarily the same shape or the same design, but maybe just your drawers need a little organizing too. Then you can know some products to look out for and ways to sort it. So hope this helps and you have a good day. Bye guys!